Julio, we just talked to Dan a little bit about Leo being in the lineup and how much energy his approach just brings to that bottom of the order, being able to turn it around for you guys. Just from your experience, how has it helped having him in the bottom of the order, just that constant on base threat for you guys at the top of the lineup?
I mean, for us, I think Leo, what he brings to the lineup is huge. You know, like you said, like he always having great at bats. He plays great defense too. So he's somebody that when you put him in the lineup, you know he's gonna have those really good at bats, and he can definitely like get everybody in trouble just creating things on the base pad.
We'll go over here to Dan.
Julio, what have you seen from this clubhouse and its ability to just flush away tough losses and move on to the next day? And, how have you seen that evolve as the season's gone along?
I just feel like it has become like really a part of our identity. You know, we take it one day at a time. I feel like we all like do a pretty good job just staying present in the moment and kind of just take games as they go. And like, sometimes you're gonna experience tough losses, and like you cannot, avoid that. But I feel like something that you can really control is how you respond and how you show up the next day, ready to compete again.
We'll go back to Taryn in the middle.
On that note of kind of the mentality of like flushing away tough losses, was there a moment in this season that you guys kind of adopted that or fully committed that, or was that just kind of a combination of experiences from the past couple of years that this core group of players went through?
I just feel like, as this season kind of kept going forward, I feel like, that kind of kept growing and growing because it was, even though like we knew we had a really good team, like we experienced like some tough batches, and I just feel like those were the times where like, we were really able to solidify that.
Calling Rick on the right.
Julio, I know you're going to hit a home run in the bottom of the first inning again, but what do you learn from the dugout to the on-deck circle? What do you watch when Randy's up there and Cal's up there to do what you've done the last few days?
Honestly, like I like seeing the way that they're pitching, but at the same time I have my own approach. I always try to like get something. When it's my turn to hit, like just to see something over the middle of the play and try to put a good swing to it.
We'll go to Tyler on the right.
Julio, you had such a great second half. What did the decision to take a few days at the All-Star break rather than go to the game kind of reset? How did that help you in the second half when you look back at where you were in July?
I would say just taking a time for myself to actually dive deep in myself and like just to address the things I thought I could have done better, like to just kind of organize my head a little bit better and put myself in a better spot to compete and like kind of bring the best self out of me.
Go to Jessamine in front.
We just heard from Dan Wilson about the leadership in the clubhouse. Harry Ford said that Josh Naylor had some words last night. Being a part of that group, it sounded like Dan thought that you guys all come together. It could be a different person every day. What does that mean to you? And do you find a time when you are that person to be the leader?
I'll say yeah. I feel like I found myself in like those situations too. But I just feel like it's not just me. I just feel like it can come from anybody, honestly. I feel like everybody knows the goal, like why we're here, like why we're doing what we're doing, like why we're playing hard every single day, like why we need to flush out games. I feel like everybody knows that. So I feel like it's like a collective effort. I feel like everybody can pull the lead a little bit.
Go in the middle back, David.
A fun question here. Has Josh Naylor given you any stolen base tips?
By watching him, yeah, there's a lot of tips by watching him. Like he's always like looking for opportunity out there on the field, and that's something that he definitely brings to the game. And I just feel like by watching him, I definitely like copy a little bit of him.
Go to Jordan in the back left.
Julio, what's been your experience working not just with Edgar Martinez, but Kevin Seitzer and Bobby Magianis, and how have you seen the team kind of work with them throughout the course of the season?
I feel like working with all of them, they're all like really good at something different. Like I feel like Bobby is really good at like the swing side of things. Seitz and Edgar are really good at the approach and the experience, and and that dynamic that they have, it's like really works for us because like I feel like we all like learn to trust them and like what they do, and I feel like that's something really good when you have like that connection when you're hitting coaches like that because like they put a lot of effort to help us out, to watch our swings, to like kind of dive into our mentality as hitters, and it's something that is I think is really good for the team, the whole dynamic that they got.
Come over on the right, Adam.
Just building off that with Edgar in particular, just how was your relationship with him grown over the last year in particular?
I feel like so much, like he's so much more around now, and like, we have been able to establish a really good relationship. Just talking about life, baseball, like his experience, like with this team, and like throughout his career, and I think he just has so much to offer to like young players like me and to everybody in the clubhouse. Just like for like how much experience and how much, he have done in this game.
Go to Tyler in the middle.
Julio, you committed to this franchise for a bunch of years, very early in your career. What was it about the direction and the vision of the organization that you found appealing?
I would say because I saw that we have the possibility of being moments like this. Playing for the teams that we're playing right now, like trying to get to the World Series, like playing really meaningful games in the postseason. I just feel like I saw it back then. And that was something that, I could tell the fans were really into it, that they loved the game. I could tell like where everything was going. I just feel like for situations like this was the reason why I decided to commit like pretty much my career of playing for the Seattle Mariners.
We'll stand in front here, David.
Julio, I'm going to ask this both in English and Spanish, if you could answer in both. It kind of similar to Tyler's question. This team has had a lot of legends over the years, but they've never been to a World Series. You committed long-term to the team, and you're 2 wins away from taking the team where it's never been. What would that mean to you personally to do that? Este equipo ha tenido muchas leyendas, pero obviamente nunca ha llegado a una serie mundial. Tú te comprometiste con este equipo a largo plazo. ¿Qué significaría para ti llevar a este equipo a donde nunca ha estado?
En verdad significaría mucho porque como ustedes todos saben, yo firmé una intención aquí y en verdad esto era lo que yo veía para este equipo. Yo veía el hambre, veía la dedicación, veía el empeño de todo el mundo, de verdad. Y por jugar juegos como este y por poder hacerlo juntos, de la manera que lo estaban haciendo, de verdad que eso fue lo que me motivó.
Do it in English too for us, please.
What would it mean? What would it mean to you to take the team to where they've never been?
I mean,
help
like I was saying, like it will mean the world, Like I kind of told to Tyler, like that was the reason why, like I signed here, because I know, I got to know the fan base and like the hunger that this city had for like a championship. And I feel like that really motivated me. I feel like that's been a big challenge, and I don't shy away from challenges. And I feel like that's something that like really motivated me to be here, and just kind of seeing how everybody was like really into it and like kind of motivated to like bring a championship and World Series appearance and things like that. And like once you're in it, you gotta go for everything. And like I feel like we're in a really good position to get to that spot right now.
Go on the back left, Aaron.
Hey, Julio. Hey, you're back in the playoffs for the first time since your rookie year. You're just 21 years old then. You're still a really young man. You're still hitting home runs. You're still playing great defense. You're still stealing bases. Like, you're still doing the things the same way in a lot of ways. But how do you feel you have changed the most, whether it be emotionally, whether it be physically, how you approach the game? How have you changed the most since the last time you were in October?
I feel like everything. I feel like everything is different now. I feel like just being more mature, like kind of knowing what to expect a little bit more, like knowing myself a little bit more in these situations. I feel like in everything, I feel like I'm a little stronger now too. But yeah, I just feel like experience as a whole, like, playing more games. I feel like that, like my rookie year, that was the first time me playing like over 100 games in my whole professional career. Like there was a lot of different things that kind of going on back there. And I just feel like just experience and like, more games under my belt.
Go on the back left, Jordan.
Julio, you played more right field than center field early in your professional career. At what point did you take the possibility of being an everyday center fielder seriously, and who do you really credit to help you make that possible?
I feel like that's always like a fun question for me because I was level as being a corner outfielder because I was a little slower, like I was gonna get a little bit chubby. I think Kate definitely knows that whole story. That was the whole narrative that people had with me. But I always felt like I had the possibility to play center field. I feel like I always thought I was a little bit faster of like what the people thought, that I was a little bit better at fielding than what the people thought of me. And I just feel like I always kind of took that as I want to put myself in the best position I can to play defense, and I want to let the team make the decision of put me in right or center or whatever. But I wanted to be capable, always be capable of playing center field. And I remember when I went to the Olympics in 2021, our center field got hurt, and I was the second best option on it. And I remember feeling really comfortable being out there. And when I got back to AA, I told Colin Cowgill was my manager, and I told him, like, look, man, like, I want to make it to the big leagues, and I want to create as many like possibilities of me to be in the big league roster, and I want you to test me in center field too. And I remember when he saw me out there, it's like, man, why would we never thought about this sooner, you know? And you know, I remember going into that off season too. I started training really hard with my training to kind of get better at my first steps, my routes, and like things like that. And when I got to spring training in 2022, I think there was a lot of people surprised, and you know, that's kind of how I got to be able to play center field.
Come back here on your right, Dan.
Julio, building off what you were telling David, how much have you appreciated the expectations of what you guys can potentially accomplish, and maybe some of the pressure that comes with it for, you know, what this organization hasn't really seen before?
I just feel like all that is just fuel. You know, like it's something that we're walking to a very rare territory, but like that's just exciting. I feel like, you know, there is always pressure like when you're doing great things. I just feel like it's just things that come with it, and like you gotta learn how to manage it, how to like, you know, acknowledge it too, because like, you cannot say like there is not pressure right now, that there is not like, you know, the expectations in the big moments, like to be able to deliver a win. You cannot just say that, you know, playing where we are, like knowing the history of the team. So I just feel like you're acknowledging that and understanding that and just kind of keep moving forward, you know, like playing one game at a time and just, you know, do the best you can with what you can control.
We'll go to Shannon on the left.
Julio, what is something that Ichiro has told you about that and this time of the year?
To do the best you can. I feel like that's something that Ichiro will always say, just to do the best you can, control what you can control, and like, you know, there is always room to get better. There is always room to get better, but, you know, to be in the moment and control what you can control.
Stay on the left, Kate.
You also said that Ichiro said the lesson of Ichiro was kind of just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean it can't be done, and you've taken that. You have studied for this moment too, though, right? You've not just looked within baseball, but you've looked at LeBron, and you've looked at Michael Jordan, you've looked at KD. You've been studying for this. How has that helped prepare you for this moment?
I would say a lot, because all of those, you know, players that you mentioned, and I feel like in baseball too, everybody has been in this spot. You know, at least like guys that have been playing these meaningful games and like kind of playing for championships and all that. I just feel like we all like kind of experience the same thing. Even though if it's basketball, you can say hockey, you can say track and field, whatever. Like I feel like we all experience like, you know, this, you know, these things, and like the way that we approach it at the end of the day is the same.